Okay, welcome back to lesson 4, drawing and analyzing. Now, the first 3 lessons we've gone through how everything works, and in the last lesson I showed you how the indicators work and how you had add them and what they all mean. Have a look at the descriptions. I've gone into a point of depth where if I go into a bit more, you're going to get a little bit bored. So this lesson is going to show you how you create all of your trend lines, your horizontal rays lines, vertical lines, parallel channels. I'm not going to go into everything, but I'm going to go through most of the things that I've added here. Now, the same as the stars on these and these, you can star these as well. So I've got the ones that I use on a day-to-day basis. The majority of the ones that I use are ones that I have like drawing tools for arrows when I'm teaching to show people where I think this is going to happen or that's going to happen. So all the ones that I have starred are the ones that I use. You don't have to copy me, but I'll show you the fib retracement, the trend-based fib tool. I'll show you how to use them. Then I have the brush highlighter, arrow maker, rectangle, rotated rectangle I don't use because I don't use channels and stuff like that. If I do, I'll use the parallel channel. Pattern, ellipse, arc, curve. Now, what I do is when I start them, this will be like that when you're on the screen. So to highlight them, you click this, which will show your favorite tools. And this will probably show up probably around about there on the screen. You can move it. You can see the hand. It changes hand, no hand, hand, no hand. That means you can move it to wherever you like to move it, okay? I have it here because it's directly for me underneath where I want to look at a chart. If, say, for instance, I want to do a parallel channel, that's what I'd do that quick. I've got it to hand. Okay, so that's a parallel channel. Parallel channel is used for straight lines or diagonal lines where you want to measure if there's a certain pattern breaking out. That's how I use it anyway. You don't have to use it like that. You can use it straight and you can say this is the range that we're in over here. So if you're using ranges, that'll help you to create a range. And then a middle line, which is there. Now, style, I usually have a yellow color because you can see that my colors are more orange and yellow fits nice. I don't extend it left and I don't extend it right. And I do not have a background because I don't like my chart being cluttered up. Okay, so you also have the toolbars up here as well. So if you want to change the thickness of the lines, change them to dotted, you can do that here. Okay, you can also change the color to whatever color you like, and you can make your own color by just like moving it around and picking the color that you like. Okay, so that's parallel channel. I've just showed you how to activate them. Now, you could click on here and for the parallel channel, I think it is, there it is. Okay, so there it is. You can click on that and then again, that will highlight it again and you can make your range. Now, trend lines, which are in here, you can mark out where the trend is like this and put one on the top like this. I know that's not the right trend line. If I was going to draw it, it'd be something like that to say that it's deviated across the top twice here. And if I was going to use it across the bottom, I'd probably take it up to about here so that we can see the deviations perfectly. It's basically coming out of that now. And we could, if you wanted, just to put it like that. You can extend these lines and move them around. I have got training on the Satoshi trading floor that gives you basic training on how to use trend lines. But that's how you use the trend lines. Same thing applies if you double click it. You can see you can have price labels, middle point, extend left, extend right, price range, percent change. I don't use all this. Don't use it all. The more things that you add, the more complicated your plans get. So let's keep it simple. That's the trend line. The trend line is telling you where the support and resistance is for that pattern. Okay. Now, right click. You can remove all drawings, which I've just done, or you can remove all indicators. Don't do that if you have all your settings set because you'll have to go back and do it all again. Okay, so we've had trend lines, horizontal, well, vertical channel line. Okay, so that bottomed out here. And we want to change the style of it to maybe a thinner color, a bit more brighter. You can see, you can modify it. It gives you the date and the time where you've added it, so you know in your mind if it was a certain time it was right. And that is your vertical line. Okay, now horizontal line. If you wanted to just draw right across the page and you didn't want to put the line in, which I'll show you in a minute, and draw the line will be drawn for you if you click it on a certain area. Now, if it's not in the right area for you, you have a certain area where you want to change it to. If you click on coordinates, coordinates will change that. So if we wanted, say, 50, and it would move that to that for you. Okay? Again, same thing applies. If you want to add a note to the line to tell you that it may be monthly, bottom, I know it's not, but I'm just putting it show you, and you can change the text to fit in the middle of the line, above the line, to the left of the line, to the center, or to the right. That's how you do it. Now, arrows I use quite a lot because I like showing people directions. I did that the other day. Now, what you want to do if you want to use the arrow is keep hold of the left mouse button when you're making the arrow. Otherwise, it won't make it. And then you let go and click the left mouse button to make another arrow. And again, you don't have to hold, you just have to click and click and click, and it will make the lines for you. Again, same things apply if you want to use the settings. You can change the visibility of it and the style. You don't have to touch the visibility. I told you that. Don't do them. We'll delete that. You want to point something out on the chart, you click on arrow. Again, you hold the left and you keep hold of the left button until you're ready to stop holding and making the arrow bigger. So now we stop. That can then be changed on the chart and you can put it there and you can add some text to this bottom. Again, you can change the color of the text. Let me get rid of that. And there is your arrow. Another thing that I use quite a lot is you can see the fair value gaps have got rectangles. So if I feel that there's a rectangle that I would see differently, or maybe I have a certain amount of fair value gaps on and it's an extra one that I need to draw. So let's just have a look for one. There we go. And I wanted to see if that actually hit that fair value gap. Again, style, you can take out the middle line, which I like the middle line because it tells me where the middle of the fair value gap is. If you wait, I usually take the trade. Sometimes you miss a good trade, sometimes you get stopped out like this, but that's all part of the game. Okay, so that fair value gap here, I know it's been eaten, but before it was eaten, if it didn't show up, that's how you can create it. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, you can make it longer, so it goes across the chart. You see clearly that this is touching into this again, this area. looking to see if there's any more compliments in this area. Again, you had a fair value gap here that did get filled, but you had another fair value gap bearish here, another fair value gap bearish there, and a fair value gap here bearish. So there's quite a lot of I know they've been disrespected and taken out, but again, that's all training that I teach you in the trading floor. But that is how you would do your rectangles and your long and short positions. Now, when you see me with the long position, that is how I create them. You click it once, you click it where you want it to go, okay? Again, if you highlight it, you can press delete or backspace and it will delete that for you. But if you were going to enter a trade, I tell all my traders to make sure you plan your trade. This is part of the planning. You plan the trade and then you can execute, which I'll show you on the next one. You can use paper trading or use brokers to execute live from TradingView, or you can set this out, double click on it and click on inputs, and this will give you your entry price, your profit level, and your stop level. This will then help you then to go to the exchange and copy and paste them in to get into a trade quickly. That's the idea of these, to make sure that you can use these as a quick guide to get into the market and get out. I tell everyone, please do not use no stop loss. It's the first rule of becoming a trader. Being able to put it on correctly and do it as a professional and use a stop loss will keep you in the game a lot longer than not using the stop loss. Okay, so that is the long one. And the short one, if we were going to take this trade, say from here, again, stop loss, and you'll take profit, which would have been a low. And again, if you didn't want to do it on the trading view, the trade, double click it, and you have your entry, your profit, and your stop level. Okay, so that is that one. Now, let's have a look which one else you need to learn. It's like pretty vital. Fibonacci retracement. Okay, so Fibonacci retracement, all you have to do is click on the bottom of a move, like a wave, and then go to the top, which would have been here. And this tells me, because this is set to my normal settings that I use, that if I was going to get into this as an ideal long, then my ideal long would be in this 62 to 79 area. Okay. So if I was going to trade upwards again, it would be in this area that I would be looking to trade. So then what I would look for is confluence, a fair value gap to trade from. It looks like this is starting to make its push up now. It's probably going to come up and this for a bit. And there's a lot of news coming out at the minute regarding wars and World War III. So we'll see how that plays out. We're at 12th of January 2024. So we'll see how that plays out. It's not very good for the markets, anything like that. So I expect some kind of backlash today from that on the markets, which was not really needed considering we just failed to take out a new run with the ETFs going live yesterday. Okay, so that is your Fibonacci, and why that comes up, I don't know. And your trend-based tool, which I use for ranges. So if I wanted to create a range, I would use that and keep a straight line underneath it. And then what I would do, once I did the high and I did the low, I would pull it out to where I want the range. So you can see at the minute from the range that's been created by Bitcoin. Let's put it up a little bit. I don't want to people saying that I'm using too little of a range. Okay, so you can see now that this came down and bounced off the 50 here for this area, that it's stuck out here and created a tail top, usually an indicator for a top. It's a very bad indicator, to be honest. You see, you can't see any topping tails anywhere else. But we have one clearly here to mark out that this is probably going to be the high for the next couple of months as we retreat back and cover some of this ground that's not been taken yet. Possibly in this area where I've highlighted to everyone, 38,000 range. Probably going to take these lows because they're all hanging like a tree. You see how it's bent upwards? I call that low hanging fruit, and that is a target. We've not hit it yet. I don't care what anyone says. We've kind of hit this area with this, but we've not took any of this yet. Tried out this area here to see if we actually got any demand in the area. It's kind of hit this with 49,000 and straight up 49,000 collapse from there. It looks like now complete like makeup of a reversal starting. Okay, so that is most of these that you need to know. If you wanted to know how far you've moved up the chart, again, that's your height. You go from the bottom, you move to the top. See, Bitcoin's done nearly 100% in the last 3 months. So we are due maybe a 30-40% reduction on that. So I would expect that to come back into this area. So if we were looking at that area, we were going from this area, we're talking 30% would bring us back, let's say 32 would take us completely to where I said that we'd probably go. It's probably what we're going to do and make a retrace now. Come back into this area and range around this area till the halving. We've also got to be bear in mind with the war that I mentioned before that could break out with Biden and the UK doing things that I don't agree with. There also could be some pivot in March, which means the interest rate will lower, which means the risk for Bitcoin then gets cut, and people then will tend to put the money back into the dollar, as the dollar then will rise if their interest rates are cut. So you've got to be more mindful of that as well. Okay, so that is video 4, guys, drawing and analyzing, so that you can see clearly that I've shown you how to use these. The same thing applies for every single one. What I would tell you to do is have a look at them all, use them all. Anything that you like, star it, and anything that you don't, obviously don't. That way then you build your own toolbox that you have to hand when you want to do your analysis on a chart. Okay, so one more video after this, guys, for this course. This next video will show you how to practice with paper trading, so that you can, if you miss a trade for the day or you maybe don't want to trade that day, you can go back and take a certain scenario and go back and do the bar replay that I told you and have a look at doing some trades live. Well, practice trades, then do some back testing.